I was perusing Pinterest, and as I do, I found a recipe that immediately caught my eye, and now I'm going to make it. I love when I just impulsively decide to make recipes. It gives you less time to talk yourself out of it. But tonight I'm making peach naan bread pizzas. So I've got my naan bread, naan. You get the gist. I've got a peach. I think I might need another one. We'll see. Got basil. We have mozzarella. I have to do a balsamic honey reduction. Never done that before, but I'm in for the ride. I think I'm gonna make 2. I also technically also have my lettuce being washed right now. So I was debating on making a salad, but I don't know if I have the effort to make that. A pot here for my reduction. I apparently need a 1/4 cup of balsamic and a tablespoon of honey. I couldn't quite find like one recipe that I want to follow, so I'm kind of just taking little bits from a few. I don't know if I've ever poured a 1/4 cup of balsamic vinegar before. Is this gonna eat up my supply? This feels wrong. I didn't like that. The stakes are high now. Honey is one of the worst things in the world in terms of pure mess. I have another thing of honey, but let's just see if I can finish this one off. Oh my. Ow. Oh, I'm gonna cry. This won't come off. Who created this? I am not weak. Ow, this hurts. Oh. Yeah, continuing. I want to keep that nice and clean. Got my naans here, so I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil on them. Thinly slice this and just leave it to the side because we won't need it right now. Now our peach. Trying to keep them nice and thin. The more I can see through them, in my view, the better. And then I'm gonna take these and slice them even more. I think that's like a good size. We gotta taste the goods. Well, I haven't had a peach in so long. So good. Wowza. I also need some, oh my gosh, I need another one of these. Oh, wow. I love that. It's time for mozzarella time. Oh, I love mozzarella, guys. Woo. I'm gonna plate with mozzarella. Listen, if you're not generous with mozzarella, then you and I would not get along very well. I'm gonna plate with peaches all over the place. Excitement's brewing for me, I don't know. This is very exciting. While I'm waiting to put the peach pizzas into the oven, I have the balsamic vinegar and the honey in a pot right now, and I've got it just at about medium heat. Apparently you're supposed to kind of let it reduce for 15 minutes to make like some sort of glaze, I assume. I'm not sure where I land on honey. I like using it in teas because it's just a really good throat coat, but it's not my favorite thing in the world. I gotta say, the smell can be a little intense. Ooh, this feels a little too hot. My main goal with this is just to make sure it doesn't burn because I like balsamic vinegar and I can tolerate honey. So these two together should not be a big deal. I just need to not burn it. I don't know if I'm doing this right, but one thing is happening is it's thickening up. I think that's what we want. We want like a little bit of a glaze happening. So I think I'm killing this, not to brag. I hope this is right. I guess only time will tell. I'm not gonna lie to you, I think my ego got in the way here because I'm pretty sure I burned this. Yeah, that doesn't seem right. But I don't know, maybe it'll taste okay. I'm optimistic. Oh, that is for sure not right. I think the alternative solution is I'll just put some balsamic vinegar on top of my peach pizza. No big deal. Yikes. Yike-a-roni. I'm adding my basil. Some pepper. Some salt. I'm just gonna put a little bit of balsamic on it. This is how I'm gonna control it. I just don't want like a ton of balsamic vinegar to go on my pizza. So dabble, 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 dabble. And ta-da! For the moment of truth, let's give it a little taste. Looks pretty impressive. My first impressions is it's definitely like a fun recipe to try for the summer. I wish the balsamic glaze would have worked out because I do think it needs like a little something something and just the vinegar isn't doing it. But basil is critical here. And I have seen other recipes that use some other cheeses in addition to mozzarella. I think that would be really yummy as well. I'm just on a fruit roll. I add fruit to my salads, my green salads with strawberries and apples. Now I'm adding peaches to pizza. What will I do next? Who knows? I tried this again, but I probably would just go buy a balsamic glaze or watch a tutorial on how to do that element of the thing. I really just enjoy though experimenting in the kitchen with recipes that catch my eye. I always recommend like saving things that you come across on the internet that speak to you when it comes to recipes, because it just makes like spending time in the kitchen a little bit more exciting. And now I can say I've made a peach flatbread pizza. What a great topic of conversation that is. Oh, do you want me to tell you about the time that I made peach pizza? I effed up the glaze. I have been in such a dry spell with my nonfiction reading lately. Admittedly, I haven't really been reading nonfiction for the past maybe couple of months, month and a half. I usually have the routine of reading nonfiction in the morning with my morning coffee, but like something about, I guess, the transition from winter to spring, I was just kind of going all in with fiction reading, which is great. I love fiction reading and I get a lot from it, but I have been missing the nonfiction element, because when I read nonfiction, I feel like it's a different reading experience than when I'm reading fiction. With nonfiction, there's usually lots of thinking about life, takeaways that I can apply to my life, learning that's happening, because usually I'm diving into topics that maybe I'm not an expert in. I find it really empowering in a lot of ways to just be reading nonfiction. It's like my favorite vehicle for learning new things. And I have been watching podcasts, which is one of my other favorite ways to kind of get that same sort of experience I get from nonfiction reading, but I have been missing the nonfiction books. And I feel like to get myself back into the swing of things, I need to kind of start small. So something I talked about on Instagram is that as of the last couple days, I've challenged myself when I'm having my morning coffee to spend at least 10 of those minutes reading nonfiction. So I set a timer and everything just to keep myself focused on a really small goal. Even though reading comes easy to me and I don't find it painful to read nonfiction, it's just the habit of not reading it often, or even in my morning time slot. Like I've become adjusted to getting lost in the fiction reading with my morning coffee, and I need to kind of shift gears a bit. So this is a really small way that I can start working on that habit and build it up as time goes. And what has happened is I end up reading for like 15-20 minutes, not just the 10 minutes I set on my timer. But because the goal feels smaller, I just think it's been something I've been able to commit to over the last few days. Now, the nonfiction book that I am reading is one that I have talked about a bit because I haven't finished it yet. It is The Myth of Normal by Gabor Mate, and I'm not gonna fixate too much on it because I feel like it's been mentioned on the channel a bit already, but I am like 200 pages away from finishing it. I just need to power through, and I'm committed to that. I think some people would think, you know, maybe it's the book. Maybe you should just need to switch the book that you're reading. And I considered that because I was like, maybe I do need to just like immerse myself into something new. But the thing is, this is not the book's fault. The book is actually very interesting. Whenever I pick this up, I don't regret it, because every chapter that I read kind of opens my brain a little bit to consider something, to think about something. It pulls in tie-ins from my own life or from other people's lives the other people in my life, you know. Also a bit of a heavier book because it does deal with like trauma and the impacts of mental health on your physical health. Like, it's beefy. Even though it's written in a way that I think isn't too intimidating, the content of it is not the most like easygoing stuff. So I just think that has been definitely an element that has made this a little bit more of a slower read, but I think it's been good to tackle it a bit slower. I don't want you to think that because this is taking me a while that I think it's not a good one. Like, so far at least, I just think it's an interesting read for sure. Maybe not the book for everybody, but yeah, I've been enjoying it, I swear. Even the other night though, I was talking to my mom on the phone and I was telling her about one part in particular and how it made me think about something in my life, and she stopped me and she's like, Kaylin, this is too deep for this hour of night. So I was like, okay, that's fair. So that's the kind of book it is. It just gets your brain like going and making the connections. I feel like one of those people in movies where you got all like the photos on the wall and you're making the connections. That's how I feel reading this book, but I'm not trying to solve a murder. I'm just trying to figure out the meaning of life. Not a big ask at all. Very dedicated to my 10-minute goal though, because I want to get this done, and I do think it will be good for me to switch up the topic of the next book, so I'll make sure that it's not in the mental health space. It'll be something completely in a different category. I just think that's always a really smart idea to do with nonfiction, so you don't find yourself feeling like you're just like in this one area for too long. I bring that up because I get a lot of questions about how to get into nonfiction reading and how I stay consistent with it. Admittedly, I don't always stay consistent with it. Sometimes I go through slumps, but maybe that 10-minute goal is something that like you can consider trying this week, because it's very doable and not even as intimidating as saying I want to read a whole chapter, because some of these chapters are lengthy. So if you do that, you still might get a little thrown off, intimidated, and not even want to start. So that's been really helpful for me, and it's made me feel really good too. I feel like my best self when I'm learning new things, and when I'm feeling a little unsettled with life or I start getting too in my head, I usually see that as an indicator that I'm not bringing enough learning into things. Like I said, that element is so important to me feeling just like my best self. The workday has concluded and I have to get ready because I'm meeting some friends for drinks tonight. I whipped up something for dinner, so now I just need to get ready. I don't have to leave for another 45 minutes, which I think I might actually walk to the restaurant / wine situation that we're going to, because it's a beautiful day and I feel like anytime I can walk, I want to take advantage of it. So funny, like a 20-minute walk in the summer is easy breezy, no problemo. 20-minute walk in the winter, I'm like, absolutely not. But anyways, I have to figure out what I'm gonna wear. I might be going with the black sundress that I wore, or was it to the shower? I showed you that, but I can casualify it so that it's a little less fancy. This one is an option, or I've got this new dress that I picked up at Winners. I honestly still debating on whether I'm going to keep it or not, or return it. I guess you can't really tell anything from me just holding it up, but it's just a basic striped dress. I thought it'd be a good casual dress because you can wear sneakers with this easily, add a tote bag, and then it looks like an effortless look. I'm gonna try it on though and see what I'm thinking. Although I will admit I'm wearing a bra right now and I really want to take it off, but I can't with this dress. This is the dress. You can see it being a really great casual option. You can see how it has this little swoop at the bottom. Wow, how I love not having to wear a bra. There's nothing quite like it. And then how I'm gonna casualify this is I think I'm gonna wear a tote bag instead of a crossbody, just to give it more, I'm just going to the farmer's market vibes rather than I'm going to a fancy event. Some sunnies. What else? Sneakers. Oh, I'm gonna pair this with white sneakers. And then the fit will be it. It will be done. We're chilling. I do love the fact though that during the summer after work, like it's 6:30 right now, I'm only gonna leave in half an hour. It's a weekday and I'm just getting together with some friends. I love summer for that reason. It's so much easier, I feel like, to get together because there's more willingness to do things during the week. One thing I do need though is socks. I need socks. Okay, this is the setup right now. Picture white sneakers on, tote bag, necklace, sunnies. But let's do this thing. Let's do it. I always feel like King Street West in Toronto gets overly hyped up as a place to go for a bite to eat or to grab some drinks, but College Street West I think has so many amazing options. This was my first time going to Breweria Volo, but they had such a great selection of wines and I just like the atmosphere. It was a great setting for me to catch up with some friends. Don't get me wrong, there's the occasional time and place for dancing or clubbing, but I love this era of my 20s where hanging out with friends can happen at a wine bar or at a restaurant. I feel like I'm living the ultimate working gal in the city experience. It's fun.
I can't go back in time, 'cause I'll see you, see you, see you. I can't just say goodbye, 'cause I'll see you, see you, see you. See